Gaurav, welcome to P Guru's channel.
Thank you, sir.
Now, those of you who may not have heard of Gaurav, and I suspect that a lot of you know about him, he's an internet warrior. He has a Twitter account follower of close to 100,000, and he has been amazingly prescient in predicting a lot of events that happen, sometimes even months ahead of time. For instance, he had predicted about BJP sweep in Uttar Pradesh, I think about 3 months before the elections happened. And he had done this thing based on his own number crunching capabilities. He also had done a lot of groundwork. He toured the extremities of Uttar Pradesh on his own jeep. So I can go on and on. And it's not my point here to explain these things. I think Gaurav, you are a much better person to help let our viewers understand who Dr. Gaurav Pradhan is. You've had a very distinguished career as an information officer, and you've been rated among the top 10 in CIOs, number 1 in IoT. So I'd like you, in your own words, to maybe describe to us your journey from when you finished your engineering and up until now.
Well, I finished my engineering in 91, and the first thing was getting to the job. As you know, especially in India, engineers are when you are in college and you develop some technology, or bring some technology out of your research and hard work.
Right.
You get excited when somebody praises you.
Right.
You are not aware about patenting.
Right.
You are not about money or the checks coming to you.
Right.
And my first thing was, we were a set of engineers. We developed the MOSFET based UPS. Today, if you see all the inverter
if you will indulge me for 1 second, MOSFET is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. This was the technology in the 90s, and he was using that to create an uninterruptible power supply. Please continue.
So after that, it picked up. I don't remember, it was PowerTone or some company in Delhi which picked up that technology, and today you see inverters all across India.
Yes.
They are all MOSFET based. They are not vacuum diode based.
Right.
So that was the first, if you literally ask.
Right.
But there was a time when I also sold newspaper.
I see.
I used to load newspaper 5 in the morning from Kasturba Gandhi Marg in New Delhi, Observer, and I used to go to Greater Kailash to distribute that. That was extra money for me. Not that my parents cannot support me; they were very well off. But I was a guy who don't like asking money from my parents if I have to fulfill my interest in music and all. Later I moved to US. I stayed in US for almost 10 years. Worked in technology like Actuate and all. And then SAP finally came in, SAP R3. So there I wrote the SAP R3 modules. I've done close to about 470 projects on SAP across 55 countries. You name the company I have worked in. With top 18 consulting organization. Then I moved to digital transformation, but before that I had a brief timeline where I spent in Norway, in Finland, with Nokia. And when
was Nokia the ceramic company then, or was it already?
It was a mobile company.
It was a mobile company.
1994, they invented SMS.
Right.
So I was part of that team.
I see.
And in that team, I told to my boss, I said, "Sir, the SMS is done, but what next?" And he said, "You guys are young, you need to decide what is next." So I said, "Sir, I see in another 10 years connecting devices. The devices talking to each other." Now, I never used the word internet or social media, but I was very clear that in 10 years it would be more device talking, people talking to. So from centralized system, we are moving to distributed system.
Right.
If you see social media today or device talking today, it is not about distributed network.
Right.
It is not centralized. I give you an example. Encyclopedia Britannica.
Right.
Hire about 4,500 people. They get the information, content, then they publish the content, people buy it.
Right.
Now we have encyclopedia, now the Google comes in, and you have more than 25-30 million people across the world who
Right.
want the information.
Right.
Content is generated, and it is freely available to everyone in the world.
Right.
So that is what the difference between SMS and social media is today. Well, after that, I have worked in about 55 countries. Then in 2005, I was kicked out. I joined Satyam Computers in India
I see.
as a leadership team, second to the chairman. And then I was kicked out of India to South Africa.
I see.
Worked there for about a year, did a deal worth close to about $15 million from registering the company to $15 million. So Chevron, DBS and all those projects I did, which Satyam actually lost all over the world, but we were doing in South Africa. And in 2006, I started my own time tunnel company, time tunnel consulting. We were the primary premium organization which we were doing SAP, Oracle and all those technologies, but we moved toward enterprise content management. And Filet was our core. So we did some of the biggest bank in the world. We did the pension fund for Barclays in UK. We were in competition with IBM, and unfortunately, we were winning the competition all the time. So by 2013, we decided to move out of the nut and bolt business and go primarily into advisory and strategy service, because digital transformation, when you talk about, it is not about nut and bolt. The first thing is advisory and a strategy. It is a change of mindset. So we try to become the change agent. 2013 we sold off Time Tunnel, and I started off my own as Gaurav Pradhan. Travel the world on advisory, and that still I am doing. But 2010 onwards, I am more active on politics. Data is something which I am working since last 10 years. Probably I am the oldest among the data scientists across the world. We are the oldest batch, I would rather say, who are into data. And we have not learned formally data science. We have grown working together. So there is no formal learning of R or Python or something like that. I love data crunching now. Predictive analytics is the best Predictive analytics is the best I do. That is exactly what is helping me when I predicted the 2014 Lok Sabha election, bullseye, did the US election bullseye, UP election as you said, and along with that all the other 4 elections. But data gives us some information, rest information comes from the ground source. I also travel a lot. I love traveling with my Jeep, and I go all over the country. I mean, I'm a non-stop travel from here to Chennai many times. So I keep doing that, and that is the way I'm learning India. At the same time, at this juncture of my career, whatever I have learned, I'm trying to give it back to the society. And to give back to the society, because I don't have an NGO. I cannot distribute blankets, I cannot distribute foods, I cannot create houses. But I can ignite minds of the youth. So we created an initiative called Sudesh, and the whole purpose of Sudesh is organizing workshops and seminars across the country. Be it army jawans, be it police force, be it rural areas, school colleges and metros, where we discuss subjects and topics with subject matter expert. I am not expert on everything. On subject matter expert, and try to find, because I think in a room, if I have 200 people listening to me on environment, and 20 of them go out and do something, I think I have done my job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is
a high conversion rate.
Yeah, it is a high conversion rate, but I have seen it happening. We don't charge money. We don't ask, government to give us funds. Some people have donated us. We have invested from our side a lot of money, and we continue to do.
So you're passionate about it.
I'm passionate about India. I want this nation to grow. I think enough is enough. 70 years of sitting, because I have been an NRI for 25 years literally. And the only thing I hear across the world is that Indians are cheap labor.
Yes, yes. That mindset has to change.
That
Absolutely.
mindset, we are intellectuals, we are brainy people, we are
Yes,
very hardworking.
yes, yes, I completely agree with you. Gaurav, let's take a look at India's security concerns. Now, India unfortunately has at least two neighbors who one is hostile all the time, the other one can be hostile or neutral, unpredictable. Now, the way this has been played out so far has been on the ground where there are incursions and then there is standoffs and then there is some sort of a uneasy truce that gets enacted and then things quiet down for a while and then go back. But as a cyber specialist, I'd like to invite your attention to, now this is just one way nations attack each other. Today, cyber terrorism is also another way in which any nation could be attacked. Now, based on your perception of how the security agencies work in India, and you have seen many other countries how they have their security systems in place. So, maybe if you were responsible for the security of the country, how would you organize data between different departments to make sure that we not only respond to things quickly, but we are able to thwart the next big attack that's going to come?
See, cyber security, the way we talk in India as of now,
right.
And I'm blunt in saying the government, the way it talk, that okay fine, you have bought a third party antivirus, you go do all the whole, listen, we have antivirus, so everything is safe. Now you have been a techie guy.
Yes.
We know it pretty well that
right.
Ransomware, no antivirus on the planet can ever stop it.
Right.
It got to stop with the people.
Right.
Now I listened to a video when this then ransomware attack happened a couple of months back, and there was a department which had a lecture, and they listed down, I think, 105 extensions which people need to be clear about and avoid. As a techie person, even I don't remember 10 extensions.
Right.
How do you
so give us the file extensions like .exe, .fx, .jpg, .gif and so on.
Right.
Please continue.
So, how do you estimate a ordinary man, ordinary
expect
person,
people to have not to click on those.
Click on. You can hack an Android phone and even an iPhone phone without even touching it.
Right.
I mean, some videos were going where the guy touched the phone for 20 seconds and the phone is hacked. But hang on, he is still touched. There are solutions, technologies available where I don't need to touch or even see your phone or meet you.
Right.
If I have your number, I can sync the entire phone on my desktop.
Right.
We need a paradigm shift. China has close to 100,000 cyber soldiers funded by the state.
Yes.
In
fact, I think US blacklisted, named them and blacklisted some of them. Please continue.
These are working 24/7. Now what happened, I understand in a very basic language. You see some Pakistan guy hacking your website, deface your website, and then you shout on the government. Then some Indians go and deface some site and they pick up the Indian agenda, हमने deface कर दिया, जीत ली जंग. I think people cannot understand hacking. Hacking has 3 levels. First is an amateur hacker, where your site is not HTTPS or you don't have a security layer on it. What I do is I go, deface your site, come back and I claim the victory. The second level is that a hacker, which are, I won't call it professional, but they are some kind of professional, semi-professional you can say. They go, pick up the information, they hack the system, pick up the information, and if they are not using it again, they deface and come out. One-time job. It's more like a terror activity. But the state level hacking is not defacing.
Correct.
They are continuously inside your system.
And they are observing.
They don't give any clue that your site is hacked. You will never ever be able to know that your site is hacked, and they keep pumping the information as it generates. Give you an example. skill development, skill ministry. There have been a case where all the data of I think about 2 million people who are skilled have been pulled out. Stupidly, the ministry published the data.
Oh, I see.
I mean, why you are publishing the data here?
Yeah,
I mean, why you are giving mobile numbers and email IDs and locations of everyone? Then the other narrative which is very big in India, which we shout about, is the privacy. Now, on a Samsung phone or other phones also, on iPhone, we are talking about fingerprint.
Right.
We are talking about face recognition. We are talking about geolocation because your Google map is already on. So the Google knows when you are going to pizza shop
Yes.
and when you are going to grocery and when you are home.
Right.
So what is the privacy left?
Right. Right.
Why are they shouting about it?
Yes.
We need to understand this. People need to be educated. Now comes a scenario where the agencies, I call it. Now agencies could be Enforcement Directorate, Income Tax, CBI, IB, Yourop. These are standalone agencies.
Right. Right.
They hardly communicate, but if they communicate, they communicate under a directive from government or when asked to, and the movement is physical file. The movement is not data. At certain level, data could be there. What we need to create is National Cyber Security Advisor is mandatory now.
Right.
NSA do its job when you have a hostile nation which need to be handled with arms.
Right.
You have a semi-hostile nation, unpredictable, whose interest is only economics. You need to handle it in more economic point of view and financial point of view, and maybe at a certain level military also. But because that is posing. China is just pose, you know,
Right.
how strong you can behave.
Right. Right.
But then there is a whole cyber war. The internal people, the financial sabotage too, the fraud. Now, if you talk about cyber security, I think it is very important to have, like you have a unified command center for the military,
Right.
you need a national cyber security advisor. His job would be to coordinate all these agencies, convert them to the digital platform, sync the digital platform so that tomorrow, let's say if I am a police officer and I catch a suspected car, I punch the car number, I have the owner's detail. It also gives me the complete other details also.
Right.
The fraud included, blah blah blah, how many challans he has, how many warrants he has or whatsoever. It would be quite effective. Today, if you go on, you have to ask for information from the agency. I think what is required is information readily available for the agency,
Right.
irrespective of the agency.
Right.
And once that happened, then people like in the previous government, who were the finance minister and his son, and other people who are running around and making the government fool, they would have no escape left.
Right.
Because today the shuttling between the agencies,
Yes.
they have enough time to run away.
Right. In fact, I would like to inform viewers that prior to 9/11, even United States had some of these problems. What the FBI did, the CIA did not know. What the NSA was doing, neither of these people knew. And somehow things slipped through the cracks, and that's how the 9/11 happened. But now India shouldn't have to have its own version of 9/11 in order to get its act together. We need to really think about this, and we have to have experts involved. People who are in the bureaucracy may be able to implement a particular idea, but to be able to architect it, to be able to get the right things in place, right? That's going to take someone of the expertise of, say, Gaurav Pradhan to, really visualize this thing, how it's going to happen, and to a large extent, moving files. It's a very slow process. I mean, we are in the jet age now. We need to really move past that.
And it's not just the jet age, but at the same time we need to create an environment. Now understand, cyber security, when we talk about, with all due respect to the IAS officers and secretaries, and they're incompetent. You've got to do it
Right.
Professionally with the professionals.
Right, and industry experts who are
Industry
in it
experts.
today, yeah.
I mean, the problem is, if you want hackers,
Right,
now if you go by the government standards, okay, X degree, X amount of work, X amount of credentials you
right,
need to
right,
have.
right.
Now the best hacker, you have been in industry and I have been to many hackathons. The best hackers in the world are those kids.
Yes, school
15
dropouts.
years, school dropout, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years.
Right, right, right.
Then they're not bothered about any degree.
Right,
But
right,
their fingers do the magic.
right, right, right.
Those brains are the best.
Yes,
I mean, if you see the gaming industry, the best guy to evaluate a mobile game or other digital game is not those B.Tech and B or MBAs.
Right, right.
But they hand over the games to the school kids,
right,
play around with it,
Right.
and the best flaws come out of it.
right, right,
The
right.
best testing is done by those kids,
Right, right, right.
which
right.
You and me
Right.
never ever do.
You're not qualified for
They are not
this.
qualified for that job. So, when the government talk about national security, cyber security advisor, you need to see that that national cyber security advisor is not a babu. It's not a politician. And the team he builds up should not have ifs and buts
Right,
of you have to take from a particular category a person, particular degree. It should be object oriented.
correct, correct.
This is the objective 3 years down the line. This is the budget. How you fulfill your responsibility, you will be held accountable
Right.
3 years down the line.
Right, right.
That should be the approach. I mean, if you see our industry, IT industry, we work on objectives.
Yes,
We don't do. There was a time when we were doing enterprise architecture, we were doing enterprise solutions, be it SAP or Oracle. And you might be witness in California also, in West Coast, that it has moved from nut and bolt. Now the client says, talk to me about business solution.
Right.
I have this problem statement, give me a business solution, this is my objective.
right, right.
That approach need to be adopted. That's a 21st century approach. I hope government listen and
Right, right. Like I said,
he is quite savvy,
yes,
techie
yeah,
savvy, so
yes,
he will
yes,
understand
yes, yes.
the point.